welcome to the HSR Nerdcast, where health, stamina, regen is just as important to us as it is to you. I'm the Rex.
Sorry?
Simmons. Oh, Simmons.
And, welcome, guys.
We like to talk over each other.
Yeah.
This is just normal.
Yeah.
That's pretty normal for most group of friends, right?
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
You know, it's considered rude when you're among people you don't know. And it's considered acceptable when you are among people you know.
Exactly.
At times.
So, we apologize for being late. There was stuff that came up. And if, for whatever reason, we might be a little bit short today, just due to the same reasoning. So, sorry in advance if that happens. So what's there new to talk about today, guys?
There's quite a bit to potentially talk about, but
Definitely true.
First off, hope everyone's having a good morning, had a great weekend so far, and we'll see where we go.
I can tell you I'm having a better morning because I actually slept last night than I did 2 weeks ago.
So sleep is definitely important. Also, stay hydrated, everyone. It's important to drink water.
Hydration Pop, where are you at?
So, Hickey, I think there's some news that you wanted to talk about in the streaming world, right?
We can kick it off with that if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big topic. Let's go with that one.
Alrighty. So I'm sure that most people are aware, but if you're not, this past week Mixer announced it's shutting down. It has partnered with Facebook Gaming, and so if you're a partner with Mixer, you are automatically pushed into a partnership with Facebook Gaming. They haven't announced details on hey, you have to go over there. I think it's more of a we're going to automatically enroll you and you can do what you want with it from there. The kind of the elephant in the room with those, of course, are the two big names that Mixer purchased in an attempt to increase their viewership. Ninja and Shroud. So both of them were offered contracts with Facebook Gaming. Both of them declined and forced Mixer to buy out their contracts. This has allegedly or reportedly led to Ninja getting a payout of about $30 million and Shroud of $10 million.
Which makes sense. They signed on expecting it to go longer, and then Microsoft pulled out. So
Yeah, but there's been no official statement on how much they're making. There probably won't be, so it's kind of speculation on it.
I don't think we need to know.
No.
Yeah, well, I just imagine that's a buyout of their contract. Imagine if they had fulfilled their contracts, how much more they would have made. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure
but that's kind of the problem, right?
I'm sure though that it would have to be similar to the buyout amount, just because it's not prevailing wage. There's a name for it that I can't think of right now. That basically they build into contracts, so you basically get close to that money if your contract is bought out. So
yeah. Think about Shroud's payday though. He had it was a 3 or 4 year contract that he was roughly 6 months into.
Yeah, no, that's a hell of a payday.
Yeah,
that's a payday right there.
Either Ninja or Shroud, I'm sure, care that the platform went away.
Yeah.
Because
if people look at Mixer as having killed Ninja's career because a huge chunk of his viewer base didn't follow him.
One of the crazy things is though that there's somewhere I read that Facebook Gaming offered them almost double what their current contract was to go to Facebook Gaming, and they turned that down.
Yeah,
probably because they both saw a dip in viewership as a result of going to Mixer, and going to Facebook Gaming would have seen an even further dip. Or at least that's what they theorized.
Well,
yeah. I think Facebook had Facebook Gaming, there were some reports that were done. Facebook Gaming had the largest increase in overall viewership in the gaming world over the last 12 months.
Yeah.
And that comes to convenience.
Yeah. Not to mention
I don't really I've tried watching the streams on Facebook, and they they oddly jump cut at weird sections, and I don't know what that is, but it's unwatchable.
So I have a friend, that you actually know too, Simmons. We went to school with him. Benzer Gaming. He runs on Facebook exclusively. He does American Truck Simulator and different simulators like that. That he told me that for the casual watcher, um, it's Facebook gaming is actually more friendly to those casual type games. And within a matter of months, he jumped from, I think it was only a couple of viewers to um, like I'm trying to find the to see if he's got 11,000 followers right now in on his um, page
Damn,
in a matter of
Good.
months.
that's really
Pretty
cool.
good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, the as you said, the casual watcher, the convenience of Facebook.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, as much as we all like to poo-poo on Facebook just because of their practices and how they do
Not
things.
to mention, it's horrible for society.
Oh yeah, well,
Has its
horrible
negatives for
yeah,
sure.
for social cohesion.
yeah, it because so many people are on there. I have a feeling that if they somehow turn the the thought process for these big streamers to come over to their platform, you're going to see a lot of people wash their hands of Twitch.
Oh yeah, you're definitely right. One of
Actually.
the things, if Facebook can make it so like new streamers can actually be found, that would be huge because there's no discoverability on Twitch at all,
No,
which is one of its biggest issues right there.
Unless you're looking for a particular rare game that you might find one streamer streaming.
Yep. Which is how I found like the Tapatio Jabs. Looking for a specific game, he was the only person streaming that.
Yeah.
Instant love.
Yeah, I mean, every platform's going to have its issues, though, right? So,
yeah,
one of the things everyone knows that why Microsoft closed, they weren't making that money back, and part of that I think was putting out such a huge contract for Ninja and Shroud, and then the viewer base not following.
Yeah.
And there's some reasons that the viewer base didn't follow, right? Like Mixer is not exactly, it wasn't exactly an easy platform to support your favorite streamer on. You had to purchase into their specific currency through Xbox and then pay with their Ember currency if you wanted to pay for something or sub. There wasn't an easy way to do it.
mm-hmm.
And one of the
Twitch
things I
is
saw,
you can use PayPal, you can use any number of different things, but if you want to, you can do it so that you get bits. So up front, you pay your fee to Twitch, and then everything else is direct to that streamer. It makes it really, really easy to know what your streamer's getting from you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're very, very open about how much the streamer is getting
Right.
of each thing.
Right.
Which is really nice. You know what the market share is.
Yep.
Yeah.
The thing I read, one of the things I read was that as part of the transfer process, any of those embers that you have left when the mixer actually shuts down, instead of refunding you the money equivalency, they're giving you Xbox credit.
Xbox Store credit.
Yeah.
Which I guess
Via
isn't.
gift card, I think.
Through what?
I thought it was like via a gift card, like they're gonna mail you a
Yeah.
like prepaid.
Why not just
Something.
put it on your account?
Yeah.
Like your account.
I'm not sure
account,
how
like-
they're gonna do it.
I never use Mixer, so and this is
Yeah.
probably part of the problem.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how they're gonna specifically do it. I didn't read. I only know that they're gonna do the refunds in Xbox Store credit. But like, what if you don't have an Xbox, right? What if the only reason you were paying and purchasing these embers
Well,
was to support your favorite streamer?
that should still be useful in the Microsoft Store, I would assume.
I mean,
Lee?
yeah, but what if there's nothing in Microsoft Store you want? Now you've got a bunch of store credit from stuff because you wanted to support your favorite streamer, and instead of letting you do it with cash, they
Right.
forced you into purchasing a currency and that they're not willing to refund.
That is fair.
And that's one of those business practices that made things not easy and I think made a lot of people not want to support Mixer. And then over the, they've been active since 2016, and they really haven't improved or changed or innovated. Like they were the first one to have the super low latency mode.
Yep.
And then nothing else exclusive. They've developed no new technology. They haven't
Well,
pushed the
that's
bar
like the
with
stream
anything.
team type thing, like where you could all co-stream together.
Yeah,
Twitch had that before that, technically.
that's true.
It wasn't very good, and I think the Mixer thing forced Twitch to improve their process, but Twitch had that already.
Okay. I didn't think they did. I thought that Twitch developed it because Mixer had it.
No. It might have been close. I'm not positive. I didn't look into that part fully, but what I could say is, one of the reasons that they decided to do it, which is really kind of crazy that they did it the way they did it with just a tweet and just a random announcement, just nothing.
Oh yeah, by the way, we're killing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Could you imagine
crazy.
being an employee of Mixer and finding out you have 30 days left of your job that way?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That would be.
Though I don't know, was it confirmed that that's how the employees
Yes.
found out?
Yes.
Yeah, I read a tweet.
Wow.
Employees came out and said we had no idea this was going to happen.
There was one that came out that she tweeted, just to show you guys how little notice we had. And it was like, I forget what day it was. It was towards the middle end of the week. He said on Monday they asked us to send in they asked me to send in a photo for my 3-year Mixer anniversary.
Wow.
And then boom, oh, you no longer have a job.
Yep.
So one of the crazy things though.
When we were laid off, okay, they did a lot better job than that, and it was only they went the absolute minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, 60 days. Here you go. Right? Like.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh,
oh yeah, here's your options. You have 60 days to decide.
Yeah.
Bye.
I mean, yeah, like you can't, like, that's some scummy crap, man. That's like for layoffs, like, how you don't, if you tell somebody like that and then you say, oh, this isn't going to happen until 30 days later, like, you're just asking for that team to cause problems.
Right. But in their defense, if they would have told everybody ahead of time, all the streamers would have jumped ship and they would have had no product to actually sell Facebook.
That is true.
So
it's just a shitty practice overall, right?
They're still jumping ship.
Business-wise, you had to do it that way.
A bunch of streamers are still jumping ship.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't matter. They've already been purchased.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well,
Right.
But the other way they could have done it, okay, is after they had been purchased, they could have had all hands meeting at Mixer, announced to them, look,
Yep.
we're not as profitable as we thought we were going to be, even after these purchases of these streamers. We will be shutting down Mixer starting this date. We will be making an official announcement within the hour.
Yep.
And that would have been a better way to handle it.
Yep.
Right.
You would have put yourself in front of your employees and say, look, we're not working. We have to shut down.
What that tells me is they had no plans of absolving the people that worked at Mixer in other portions of Microsoft Corporation. So obviously they weren't giving them an option. Hey, we'll move you to, if it was based out of New York, we'll say we're moving you to Seattle and you can work in this position making the same amount of money. They didn't. Yeah, they weren't compensating those employees for what they were doing. They were letting it just happen and saying sorry about you. You'll get a severance pay, because legally they pretty much have to. Yeah. So.
Example of a good business practice in these matters, the company that I work for recently announced that it is closing all of its buildings except for 4 total.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the employees are being pushed to work from home. Right? So there's going to be full-time work from home. Or if you're near one of the 4 major offices, you're going to be a hybrid work from home, work from office situation. Here's the thing. They announced that at the beginning of June.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going into effect. Like, they're not closing the buildings and stuff until November. So if you currently can't work from home, you can still work in the office, and you have nearly 6 months to figure out either is there another position within the company you can move to, because they are offering that, or can you work out the internet issues preventing you from working from home? And if not, then they have a severance at that point that they can opt into. So like, that's a really good practice. Nearly 6 months, they're providing all the support that they can. Like, that is a better practice.
Another good example is the company that I work for. About a year and 4 months ago, they made an announcement saying that they would be laying off about 80% of the IT staff. Okay, I was one of the lucky ones in the 20% that got to stay, but it was a 7-8 month transition period between them being laid off and the offshore people coming on and taking their positions. Yeah, not necessarily fun. You have to train the people taking your job, but a lot of the people that were laid off had been with the company for 30 some odd years, and they were given over a year's pay just in severance, and then an additional 6 months of pay after they left.
Wow.
So, and even if they were told that, look, before the severance, you can feel free to stop coming into work. We will continue to pay you until your end date, but you don't have to work anymore. So they would be continued to pay for the 7-8 months. They would then receive their massive severance check and an additional 6 months of pay.
That's awesome.
And that was all to make sure that, look, we know what we're doing is basically detrimental. However, you have a year of pay in order to find another job, if that's what you want to do.
Definitely.
Many of them were within retirement range. So several of them I know, like I'm friends with a couple of them, they just took that as a retirement.
Yeah.
I mean, almost 2 years of pay in the course of 1 year is a great way to bolster yourself.
Yep.
Especially since a couple of them were like 2 years from retirement, so it was like I'm getting all of the pay and still can retire with the same plan almost.
Yep.
In talking of this, I just wanted a reminder to people: if your company doesn't pay if you're working from home and your company is not paying your internet bill for that, you can write it off on your taxes. So,
interesting.
Yes,
because the company is like not paying for full internet bills, but they are paying $50 subsidy to everyone that's working from home permanently.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting like the $50, like if it's subsidy wise, like then you can't claim it. But if you're getting zero and you're working from home, you can. There is a thing labeled in tax, the tax code that says you can claim that because it's like a home office tax credit is basically what it is.
Interesting.
So,
yeah,
yep.
but what's this work from home thing? What that?
Something you used to do quite often.
Even then, he was still.
Yeah.
It's I wonder what tax software is going to look like next year between the crazy changes in the business world and the coronavirus situation. Like, it's going to be kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But so back to some numbers as to why they made the decision ultimately to close. So like, for example, in April alone, so we're just talking just April, Twitch had 1.5 billion hours of gaming content viewed. And YouTube had 461 million hours of gaming content viewed.
Is YouTube live gaming content, I'm assuming?
It's stats from Arsenal.gg. It doesn't specify if it's live or recorded.
YouTube would crush Twitch for just pure gaming content. So
I'm assuming it's probably live.
Right? Yeah.
In the same, not quite the same time frame, but from March and April, Facebook gaming saw a 72% growth.
Wow.
And in April, they had a competitive 291 million hours of gaming content viewed.
I'm actually curious because I'll be if you scroll through Facebook, you'll get like the live streams that pop up. I wonder how much of that time is counted.
Yeah.
Assume every second, right?
Okay. So even if I'm just scrolling by and it starts playing for a few seconds, if they're counting that, multiply that by millions of users who are just skimming past it, kind of might
Skew
Still.
those numbers just a bit.
yeah.
Still, 291 million gaming hours is, even if it's just scrolling by and counting a couple seconds here and there, right? It's still a significant. They're just automatically pushing that platform. And how many of those users stop and watch for a little bit, right? I
Right.
found myself on those same things. Oh, this looks neat. I'll watch it for a couple minutes, right? Comparatively, Mixer in April saw a total 37 million hours.
Wow.
Hundreds of millions of hours less viewership
Yeah.
comparatively, right? And that's just in the month of April. Imagine they've been active since 2016. They're 4 years in now.
And I'm gonna be honest, I hadn't heard about him until
Ninja and
Ninja and
Shroud.
Shroud.
Yeah.
Basically. I mean, I knew about them a little before that, but not really. They started off as a company called Beam, and then Microsoft purchased them.
Okay.
Something else interesting about this, the whole making a decision on what platform you're going to stream on, something to keep in mind. The Facebook Gaming iOS app has been rejected from the Apple Store 4 times.
I wonder why.
I'm not sure. Doesn't say. But it's kind of crazy.
I mean,
That's really odd, actually.
you know,
Apple was a little draconian with their rules about the App Store.
Yeah, Apple is something.
One of the apps that we use for our work, we used to have our own company app on there. And Apple kicked it off because they're like, you can't have an app on our store that only a single company can actually use.
So you have to do a custom install.
Yep. Well, no. The company who made the app for us was like, all right, well, if they can't do that, we're just gonna make a full open app for all of our clients and have all of our clients just use it.
I mean,
Yep.
yeah.
That worked out for that
Yeah.
company.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it worked out great, but like, why would you do that? That limits businesses so much now.
I want to
It
I want to
limits
take a
your
step back for a second. We were talking about the finding new content and finding new streamers on Twitch and how it's a little clunky. But
Yeah.
I was thinking about it as we were talking, and I was looking, and that's where everybody, like, say Facebook, really falls short in, I looked at their interface for their gaming page, and Twitch is miles and miles ahead of Facebook when it comes to finding new content for you to just scrolling through and looking at it like right now, like you get suggested games, sure, and then
I
you
don't even
can
know how to get to the Facebook gaming page.
yeah, it's not easy.
Facebook.com/gaming.
But it's if you're already on Facebook,
There's no link to it.
there's no links like on the phone. I had to find it on my cell phone, and then you can look at the, say, like, for example, so it comes down to suggested games, right? I can click on Call of Duty is one of my suggested games, and instead of showing you the live views of who's paying or playing right now, all you scroll down and see is popular post.
So what I just found on the Facebook page, if you are looking at the left-hand side where like your newsfeed, Messenger, Watch, Marketplace are,
Yep.
you know how you have your Explore area?
Yep.
Expand that and you'll see gaming video it's listed under.
Oh.
And that will take you to, it says welcome Mixer community, and we see somebody playing a FPS. It looks like Warzone.
It was
See,
nice.
mine shows as Clash of Clans, but like still, even it says live now. Like if you go into suggested games and look at the post, like I don't think it is as fleshed out and easy as Twitch is, and Twitch isn't even that great when it comes to finding, content, that newer content.
I would say that the YouTube algorithm is the most fleshed out if you're just looking for discovering new things. Um, it's still not great. You still have to pander to everything, but
Yeah,
the algorithm is so far ahead of everything else as far as this is what I'm searching for. Give me just this, and YouTube does a great job of giving you just that.
Mhm.
And then at the same time, it will give you, oh, so here's this thing that you like that you wanted, and here's a subsection between these posts of things that you want of things that are similar that you might like.
There's been some cases with YouTube where I've put in the exact name of a YouTube video, and it's been on like the second or third page.
Yes,
And
it's not
like,
perfect. It's not perfect,
Yeah.
but it's still better than anything else out there. So one of the other reasons I
one
think
page on YouTube.
just two. There's maybe three, maybe three.
no, it's like Google, just like the
Yeah.
Google.
Yeah. But I think one of the. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. It was
I was
that was
just
a tangent. That was a tangent.
I think one of the other reasons that they decided to shut it down, which is kind of a neat idea, but I mean they were bleeding money through it, so they couldn't put as much money into this that they wanted to, I would assume. Even though Microsoft makes a bajillion dollars all the time, their
Is that
xCloud
accurate
gaming
numbers?
service-
A
Slightly.
bajillion all the time?
Bajillion all the time. Yep. Yep. It's pretty close, relatively. I think just a penny or two off.
That's
they're-
correct.
Yeah. The xCloud streaming gaming service that they're trying to develop and present, which sounds really cool and is a great idea potentially, right? Do any of you know what that service is actually for? Have you heard of the xCloud gaming service or anything like that?
Not at all.
It's going to be a gaming service.
Yeah.
So like if you see somebody playing a game, you can immediately pretty much like purchase through that and start streaming the game right to your system, whatever you're using.
Oh.
The other thing about it, I'm on the website now, so there are frequently asked questions because I had never heard anything about this until the whole Mixer shut down. With Project xCloud, players can play Xbox games on their mobile phone or tablet directly from the cloud, including favorites such as Devil May Cry, Tekken, Gears 5, blah blah blah. No waiting for downloads. So it's a gaming streaming service, but it sounds like it's for mobile or tablet, right, for Stadia. Except that what you do is you pair your Xbox controller to that mobile device via Bluetooth.
If you have the Bluetooth controller.
Well, you have to have it for that.
Yeah.
Any new controller is a Bluetooth controller.
Yeah. I don't have a new controller, thank you very much.
You can buy an Xbox One,
Yeah, I have an Xbox One.
then it's a Bluetooth controller.
It is not a Bluetooth controller.
So
Okay, maybe.
the difference between the current Xbox console streaming and the Project xCloud.
The
Mhm.
original ones weren't. The original Xbox One weren't. Controllers
Yeah.
weren't.
I bought the. Yeah. I don't have it, unfortunately.
Sorry, Hickey.
That's alright, yeah.
So the Xbox console streaming that you have right now requires an Xbox One console with the games installed, either owned or through Xbox Game Pass, and then you can play it on your mobile device. This is a streaming service with no downloads. You don't have to have the game installed anywhere or anything like that. You just bloop, pop it on your tablet or your phone with your Xbox controller and play.
Which I can confirm. So at work, we were looking into a server, the NVIDIA server-based cards for streaming virtual machines, so kids could use like a 3D CAD software on
home?
yeah, from home on the crappiest laptop you could possibly have. So we were testing it, right? NVIDIA sent us a link to a demo machine that they set up for us, and we were running running and watching a like a 3D Mark type program. Their server was in California. Obviously, we're in New York. We were sitting there watching it. There was zero lag. in this 3D studio thing. Yeah. Yeah. No, there was zero lag. Like I couldn't discern running this the way it was running from the way that it would run on my machine locally. It was phenomenal as to how good this was. And it was a country, it was the other side of the country. Like I was blown away. So it was actually funny cuz my coworker, he was telling the telling the guy that was running it, right? He's like, "Do you guys have a service, so people can stream games like this?" And the guy was like, "No, but I'm going to bring that up." And lo and behold, now Microsoft wants to do basically just that.
Mm-hmm.
So
well,
thing is
the
that
same
they're
thing as Shadow Play.
oh, Shadow Play was such a good idea.
Play. Steam Link.
yeah,
Love
It's-
my Steam Link.
There's a third-party program that I've tried out in the past called Parsec, which allows you to turn your machine into a cloud gaming machine. You install a client on whatever you want, and you can stream your game. You stream from your gaming machine. So there's a lot of tools out there.
This one is supposed to be. They're looking to push it to reach 2 billion people
That's
to unlock
crazy.
that kind of access for gaming. And all you need is a Wi-Fi or mobile connection with 10 megabit downloads or better. Which, I mean, can be hard to obtain in some areas. But if you have access to it, it's kind of potentially like you no longer have to buy a console, right? You buy a controller and a tablet, and that's your gaming system.
And then you run into the problem: what do you actually own? Like we're running into that problem with digital games right now.
Right.
What happens? I think Steam has a system in place that if they were to go under, that
Yep.
the people who have games right now would
But they
still
also have the
access.
clause in there that you technically don't own that content, and if
Which-
they were to shut down, you could have the possibility of losing all of that.
Which is, in my opinion, absolutely wrong.
yeah.
Agreed.
So
Well, it's just like anything right now. Like if you buy a single player game and you want to hack the hell out of it, you should be able to.
oh yeah,
But
Yeah.
companies are going after people like because of this always online service for single player games.
yeah, you can't
Like,
mod
you
things.
can't mod things. You don't own the rights to do what you want with your own property.
Right. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, some games, even produced by AAA developers, need mods to become functional.
Yeah.
Everything Bethesda makes.
Yeah, basically.
Well, a good example, RimWorld on its own, excellent game. I don't know if any of you have played it. It's a survival real-time strategy. But there are so many mods for it that you can have a RimWorld that is 40K. So you can be playing as the Imperium, using Imperial tech, fighting off orcs and Tau and Eldar. But you can then
I don't know
also.
why he bought it.
Well, no, I don't have any of those mods installed. RimWorld is just an excellent game. But the fact that all of that exists, and it's all because the developer of RimWorld said, "Look, develop what you want. Here's the tools to do it." Arc is the same way. Arc has an API, a modding API.
Civ is like that too.
They let you do. If you let the community do what they want with the game,
Mm-hmm.
if you give them tools to do it, it's going to give your game a lot more in the way of longevity.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's going to cost the developer nearly nothing
Yeah,
to
exactly.
implement an API for mods.
You're looking at like just
You have those hookups anyway.
Yeah.
Just make them public.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you're looking at, say for example, we'll take older games or games that we'll take City Skylines for example. There are they have you can get on and download workshop content. That the base game itself might not appeal to a bunch of people, but
Right.
you institute somebody has a mod or a map that you can download from that's your hometown, that you can download from the Steam Workshop because somebody else created it. That's going to be that's going to appeal to more people and say, well, you know what, I don't like this game, or I don't, let me rephrase it. I don't, the base game on itself isn't super my thing. It seems interesting, but all this workshop content, when it goes on sale, I might buy it.
Yeah.
And then they buy it, and then they're like, oh well, now I want the DLC for it. Company put out the
Right.
DLC. Like that's just as you said, the longevity. You're going to have people that might not necessarily pay full price for it, but you're going to have more people buy it because of that content is there.
Speaking of DLC,
Look at like Minecraft for an example of that, right? Developed by one guy, made millions and millions of dollars, and then purchased out by a major company.
Yep.
And the modding community is
and they still let the
massive.
modding community exist.
Yeah.
And that's the key. They would have killed it
Yep.
had they taken that away, and they just keep developing the Java version.
Yeah.
And they make it super easy with the Java version to mod.
Yep.
The only thing that I have a problem with right now is they keep changing. Like, there was 3 or 4 releases where they changed the way the blocks worked in every release. So every modder had to go back and change how their mods worked to work with the new block system. And then with the latest Nether release, they changed how the maps work again. So
They
they're
had
going.
to.
They didn't necessarily have to. I mean, Spigot has been doing multi-world, and other mods have been doing multi-world, just in different folders. But now everything is in one single folder, and it's
And
the
perhaps
So-
the way that they view moving forward maybe will be easier overall for everybody to have it all condensed potentially. Like
maybe
I'm sure that there's a reason they did the things that they did. They were probably testing block types and what works best, and I can't fault them for the changes that they made. It made modding world a little more difficult, but everyone just stuck to 1.12 until it was fixed.
Yeah. And now now you go into the launcher, and the launcher, you can specifically choose what version you want to play.
that is also awesome. The
Yeah.
one thing I wish though is we could go back all the way to the beta versions.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Well, I guess you can go back to base release, right?
Yeah, you can go back to 1. You can't go any further back. And there are other. I have a very, very old release,
I wonder.
and I actually started it up the other day because it's run. I have a server from like 1 point something beta.
Order.
Oh yeah, I'm a hoarder. And it was probably one of the first servers that we ever ran, and I have the original client and the original. It took some finagling to get it to work, but I got it running. I just could never figure out where I was because it's been so long.
So the first, I distinctly remember the first server that we actually played on. Do you?
I do not.
So it was a bucket server that Gorechild was hosting for 1.3,
Okay.
and then we manually modded it, and then we discovered Tekkit.
Tekkit. I love Tekkit.
Tekkit, and then after Tekkit was 1.6, I think we were doing the crack pack. The crack
Yeah.
pack is where you built your giant generator system in the water to prevent the explosions and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
man.
fun.
But
It-
1.3
Keep
bucket
things from
server.
dying, like from destroying the world.
Yeah,
And to keep the thing cool because it ran so
Yep.
hot.
that's the
that
first
was-
time I built a giant, massive auto crafting system with Oh, it's so good. It's so good. But 1.3 Bucket was the very first server that we played on, and that was back. We had it was me, you, Gorechild, and one other guy from work, whose name I won't speak, just for anonymity. That's a hard word to say. But man, that was crazy. But I'm wondering, because you can enable in the launcher, you can enable experimental content, right, which will give you access to all of the upcoming,
Mhm.
like basically a PTR.
Snapshots.
Snapshots. I'm wondering if you enable the experimental content, if it will let you go back further than 1.0.
Well,
Something to check.
hold on a minute. I have the capacity. I am sitting in front of a computer.
I just figured we could check it, afterwards. But that works.
So I already know what, if anybody's gonna clip anything from this stream, I know what they're gonna clip.
What's that?
Jalopy already sent me a quick video of it. Is where I effed up and I hovered over the show desktop button, and it made everything transparent. You could see my background.
Yeah, I thought I saw something weird happen with the stream.
But at least it was only the primary monitor and not my secondary monitor. It was my second.
You gotta be careful there, buddy.
Yeah, I forgot this morning to set my background to stream appropriate. So
How do I turn on the
Terrible.
experimental content?
I don't remember. It's in the options somewhere. I turned it on a long time ago and I haven't gone. Like 1.11 or something. I turned it on.
So going back to the original topic,
There's an original topic.
will Ninja, do you think, be going back to Twitch?
Yes,
Or
100%.
do you think YouTube will actually buy
He's already
him
been
out?
live on Twitch.
He's
Oh,
already
has he?
been live on Twitch?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's already been like that same day he was live on Twitch.
See, I didn't think he was live. I knew he changed his content. I didn't think he'd been live since the thing happened yet.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, there
It's
are
been
alpha
reported.
releases here.
Yeah, I figured that there
Nice.
were. I was almost
Oh,
positive
okay.
that I'd seen that.
I'm gonna have to.
That's why I was like, when you said it, I was like, I'm pretty sure you can go back to alpha and beta content because I've done
that-
it.
Last I was looking around, I couldn't. So I know what I'm doing after this.
Yeah.
We're not going to see Dave for weeks.
No, you.
Yep.
Dave, I've been
So,
seeing you
yes.
for months.
Ninja and Shroud will go back to Twitch.
Okay.
No, it hasn't been months. You saw me a couple weeks ago.
That's been over a month now.
I got the 980 from you.
Was that after we did Wheels? That was the same day. That's a month. That's over.
No.
That's yeah.
No.
Yeah, the 23rd. It was the 23rd we did the Wheels.
You're right. I have it marked here, too. Because I have it marked that you paid me back.
What do you mean I paid you back?
Paid you back.
Because
Yeah.
I put the tires on my card.
Oh
so
yeah,
you
yeah.
made it easier to order the wheels and tires online.
So I just checked. I know he was live somewhere, but maybe he doesn't have past broadcasts or something turned on because it's not showing anything on his Twitch channel right now. But I know that it was reported that he was live somewhere
Okay.
the same day that was not Mixer. So I'm not sure if it was. I would assume that he'd go back to Twitch. That's where his core audience is going to be.
Yep.
But he does have a ton of followers or
He's
subscribers on YouTube.
He has like what 250 million almost 250 million subscribers on YouTube.
Let's see. He has a bunch. How many does PewDiePie have? Because PewDiePie was the king for a long time
You talking subscribers on?
on YouTube. Yeah.
He's at 11 million.
No, he's way higher than that.
No, you're right. He was like at 70 million last I knew.
So Ninja has 23.7 million subscribers.
Okay. That's a lot.
It's a lot. I mean, Markiplier is up there too, but I bet you guys don't know his name. He's got 26.1. He has more than Ninja does. And then PewDiePie has 105 million. Now that's a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know, man. We did see the news, and we've seen the news on Dr. Disrespect. I don't know enough about it. I don't watch Dr. Disrespect. I don't
Yeah.
follow him. And there's been no official announcement. Last I saw on Twitter, there's been no official announcement to him as to why he's been permanently banned. So there's not really a whole lot for us to talk about unless any of you guys know more about
Nope.
him.
Nope,
I've heard a
I think
couple.
I've seen him.
I've heard a couple theories, and it's not something I really want to go into.
Yeah, I would assume very similar things to what's happening with a lot of big names in the gaming world right now, which is a terrible thing. But I just don't know enough about him to even speculate. Or I think I've watched part of one of his videos or something, and it's not someone that I would normally watch. So yeah, I mean, we assume so. But
Yeah, I pulled up the latest headline for it. This was from The Verge, and this was posted at midnight last night, this morning. Um, basically, the 27th at 10:03, he tweeted out, "Twitch has not notified me on any specific reason behind their decision. Firm handshakes to all for the support during this difficult time."
Yeah. That's what his tweet. Yeah, that's what I saw. I mean, we can all speculate based off of the information that's being provided, but this is the internet, and we can't take everything with face value. So
Yeah.
Right.
Until there's an official announcement, I'll reserve judgment. But like I said, I just don't know the guy. I don't watch him. He doesn't stream content that I enjoy, and as a streamer, it's not something that I would normally watch or enjoy. Just like Tyler One, right? Like he streams a game that I enjoy, but as a content creator, I don't enjoy him, so I don't watch him. Dr. Disrespect is just one of those combos where he plays games I don't enjoy, and he's not an entertainer I would enjoy. So I just don't know enough about him to speculate or really talk about it that much.
So to segue this, because we've been talking a lot about games, there is a game that came out in 2012 that is one of my favorite games of all time that is getting a re-release. I'm so excited. It is the greatest single-player MMO of all time. And
That makes no sense.
You shut your whore mouth. It's called Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning, and they're calling it Re-Reckoning. And
Nice.
it's awesome. It's written by what is that? R.A. Salvatore. Todd McFarlane did a lot of the artwork for it.
Yes.
It was published by EA, created by 38 Studios and Big Huge Games, and had the very, very sad time of its release because it came out around the same time as Skyrim and Mass Effect 3.
Oof.
So it did not get the love it deserved. But this game looks phenomenal. I already have my collector's edition pre-ordered.
Dang.
I haven't ordered a collector's edition in 3 years now. Since
Well,
Zero Dawn. That's the last
well,
one I ordered.
let's face it. You were dumping a lot of your extra pre-release special edition funds into a very specific board game that was on Kickstarter for, and then lived on your table for a year. So,
Wait. Lean up a little bit further. I think we can gather what that game is. That's humble.
So I think you're praising the sun right now.
So kind of crazy on the topics of re-releases of amazing games. I know we touched on Demon Souls last time, but
Yes.
my wife tagged me in something a couple days ago that got me personally like really hyped up for what's going to happen, because it's one of my first multiplayer experiences, or four-person multiplayer experiences back in my childhood, was Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles.
I saw that.
They're remaking it.
I'd never played it.
I enjoyed it. It had a very much like a Secret of Mana style, where you've got a primary person playing, and then you get into the combat scenarios, and you've got 4 people playing, and
Okay.
I enjoyed it. Dave, I saw
So
the
same thing they did
saw
with the
the
Star
look.
Ocean series.
It's Final Fantasy.
I love Final Fantasy, and Crystal Chronicles was a really good story. It was a really good game back on GameCube. GameCube? I think it was GameCube. So it was pretty awesome, and I'm excited they're remaking that and re-releasing it. There's a lot of cool re-releases happening.
It seems
Or-
to be a lot of what we're getting lately.
There's one Square Enix game that I wish they would revisit because it had one of the crappiest releases of all of their games of all time. Dragon
Just
Guard
Reverence?
3.
Oh yeah.
It was using the Unreal 3 engine at the time, or was it the Unreal 4? First iteration of Unreal 4, I think.
Guard 3?
Yeah. But
man.
it was put out on the PS3 at the end of the PS3, right before the PS4 came out.
What was the name of it?
In Drakengard 3. And the game itself is it's the system just can't handle it. Like with everything that's going on, there's so much frame drop. It makes it so many parts very unplayable.
It doesn't specify. It just says Unreal Engine.
Unreal Engine 3.
3.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
You know what game I really wish they would remake?
Wikipedia is usually pretty good about having the engine for a particular game. So
Yeah. I just the initial when I searched it, it didn't have it right away in the listing. So
just tagged with Unreal Engine on the box.
yeah. So
I wish they would remake Sid Meier's Pirates, and not not exactly like a direct remake, like
An improvement.
and it, with little improvements. Oh, man, that would be so great.
I saw that game was on Steam and instantly purchased it.
oh, nice
Sid Meier games are just fantastic.
Yeah,
for sure.
like it had just enough to be fun, and you could, if you played the game well enough, you could beat it in a couple hours really. But like
Our Parker and I, or
yeah
Rex and I, just trying to race each other to see
Yeah.
who would beat the game first.
Yep. And it just like you could beat the game in so many different ways. Like just I think it would be fun. I always thought it would be fun is if they upgraded the graphics and made more first person or even third person content to it.
The only one that I can think of that was any sort of content like that is the sneaking into a town.
Yeah. So, that and when you're fighting, other ship, like you're sword dueling another captain. That was
Which was basically just an advanced form of rock paper scissors.
Yes, exactly. Like it could even be that like that could even be the exact same with upgraded graphics. I just want a little more. Like I think it would be cool to have like if I could go into more of a third person view while I was out sailing and adding more things to explore and different little changes, nothing crazy, but I think it would be just that there was something about that game that was
That would be
just even to this day I could sit down and play that and be just as happy playing it today than I was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, or whenever it came out.
Jalopy, I love that idea, but I do not have a week's worth of time to sit and play a single game.
Yeah.
we should definitely put Gladius on that topic.
We should what?
Gladius.
Gladius is definitely faster flowing. In last experience, I had a very, very bad experience.
That would suck.
So I want to change gears here just a little bit because
Are we in third gear now?
yeah Simmons is fidgeting and the
Where you got that from?
I'm always fidgeting.
but yeah but
I need to
but
try
I
and
want to
make
talk.
a fidget cube.
Yeah, that's where I was shifting gears to. Last stream you were messing with your gear shifter that you successfully 3D printed.
Yep.
And that we have kind of been playing around with and whatnot. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that. Like, obviously, you bought new nozzles for it. Have you printed
Yeah.
with any of the smaller nozzles yet?
I have not printed with any of the smaller nozzles. I did print with the 0.8 millimeter nozzle.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a second.
And now we have
Was
turned
not
into a chair
prepared.
stream.
Cherry stream.
So what I printed with the 0.8 millimeter nozzle was just a fairly large print that I didn't really care about the actual appearance of it. So it's this.
Okay.
Okay, and this is holding a bunch of little parts for the printer, wrenches, nozzles, and whatnot. And it came out with this weird texture on it. Let's see if I can get it to...
Yeah, you can see that.
Yeah.
So that lines up with like the holes and all that, and that has something to do with the size of the nozzle and the speed of the printing.
Mm-hmm.
So, other than that neat, like typically unwanted finish, I didn't mind it. 'Cause
Yeah.
it got useful print that's just useful to me. Printed much faster than if I had done it with the 0.4 millimeter nozzle. I do want to do one of these tests here with a 0.2 millimeter nozzle.
Mm-hmm.
Gauge test, which is kind of the accuracy of the printer. At the moment, it's 0.3 millimeters, which is pretty accurate, but I'd like to see if a smaller nozzle would increase the tolerances it's capable of reaching. And I've also been learning how to use Fusion 360, which my initial experience with was it was awful. I was trying to approach it like I was approaching Blender or something like that, and it's nothing like Blender.
Yeah. I have to sit down and watch those videos. It's getting into the headspace to actually sit down and learn something.
Yeah, I will say it's more like actually making a CAD drawing on a piece of paper, and that is actually something I did in high school, a course I took. So as soon as I figured out how you were supposed to use the sketch system, it instantly clicked. It's just taking an idea that you would normally have drawn out with a pencil and paper and straight edges and doing it in Fusion, and then pulling those features out or pushing those features in to cut away material. And I was able to create a MOSFET stand for something that I'm doing to upgrade the printer, which is printing right now, in probably about an hour's worth of work, measuring and all of that, the printer and where I wanted it to sit in the case and all of that. So I think it's going to be neat for something like if I need to do a computer build or I need a custom mounting fixture for something I'm doing, I can just take the measurements, put it in Fusion, print the part, and I now have this adapter plate that I can stick the computer component on and then stick it in the case where I want it without actually having to do a hard mod to the case.
Yeah.
That'd be really neat.
That's definitely cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is eventually we should all get our own because the uses are definitely there.
Oh yeah, it's getting to the point where having a 3D printer at home, while the material doesn't really like to sit around if it's not being used, we're getting to the point where having a 3D printer next to your paper printer could very possibly be something in every home.
Yeah.
Did you just say there's like an expiration date on the
It's not that
plastic?
it's not that it expires. It's that it absorbs water, and you can dry it out and make it useful again.
Yeah.
But PLA, PETG, a lot of the filaments like to absorb water just from the air.
Yeah, but that's because a lot of them are made of natural materials, like
ABS and PET. ABS is not. ABS is a oil-based. It's a very, very popular plastic. You grab pretty much any plastic thing in your environment right now, and it's probably made of ABS.
Yeah.
It's an extremely easy plastic to work. PLA is a plastic made from
starches.
Sugars.
Yeah, starches.
It's starches, sugars. And this is made of PLA. This little owl here. This is actually one of the first prints. Parker has Rex has the other owl on his desk. Okay. And it likes to absorb water. in order to get it to print correctly, what you end up needing to do is just drying it out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll get popping and fizzling at the nozzle, which will result in some porosity in the plastic, bad surface finishes, things like that. This little benchy, which I broke his tower off, is made of PETG. So this is it might be a little difficult to tell the difference here, but the PETG I've noticed is shinier than the PLA, and I think that's because it is a mix. It's a mix of plastics. It's not just a single kind of plastic in there, or a single kind of polymer, I should say. I think it's the oiliness that might be another part of the polymer in here is what gives it that shine. I haven't really looked at that. That's just me assuming. But I do love the appearance of PLA. It's a little rough, but it can be sanded, it can be smooth, it can be primed and painted.
Nice.
So you can actually make minis with it.
Yeah.
And it is common for people to make minis with them. If you really, really want to get into making your own minis, though, I would suggest a resin SLA printer, because the layers can be much finer. The detail is much more accurate because, again, it's using a UV laser to actually cure the resin on the plastic rather than using you're depositing it down, because you can only get so fine putting it down. Where
would that be a different type of printer then?
it is a different type of
Yes.
printer. Yes.
Okay.
It uses liquid resin with a UV laser.
Okay.
So they'll have a vat where the resin sits, and then the plate will come down and lay on that, and then the laser will create it, and it'll start pulling it out of the resin like this. Typically is how it works.
Okay.
Crazy.
And we'll take into consideration, like, if if you were interested in doing stuff on a small scale, like, I think it is. Give me a second.
You sent you're talking minis?
Yeah, well, not minis, but 3D printer wise, like if you wanted to get into it for yourself, the cost of your cost of 3D printers in general, you can get a small SLA machine for around, I think it's $170. So I think the
I
full
would
time.
actually suggest, if you're going to get into 3D printing, to start with an FDM, which is the typical printer.
Yeah.
The typical 3D printer, because resin is messy. It spoils if it sits out too long, and there's a lot more consumables on that machine. The resin is a consumable. The vat it sits in is a consumable, and it has a few more barriers to entry. So if you get used to printing, if you get an FDM and you get used to printing with that, you kind of get the understanding of what you need to do to make that work. And you just kind of have to shift your thinking a little bit, because you're printing upside down, one. It's printing in kind of the same fashion, but you can print some more complex, more accurate items because of the accuracy of the laser versus the accuracy of pushing filament down out of a nut. So, for about $200, you can get either an SLA printer or a decent FDM printer, and it takes maybe 4 or 5 hours to actually get a good idea of how to use the slicing software, how to make a model printable, to understand what it does and doesn't, what your printer does need a support for and what it doesn't need a support for. And it's just a learning experience, and it's been fun. It's something that I'm considering doing as kind of a thing on the side. So
that's cool. That's a lot more into it than I expected it to be, honestly. I haven't looked into 3D printing personally. It's just not something I've, I guess, been interested in, but that's there's a lot to it, it sounds like, and It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things where, like, so basically the bounds are endless. You know, you look at something and it's that's made out of plastic, and you look at it and you're like, if it's broken, you can print another one. You can fix whatever, you know. If it's made of plastic, then you can print it.
As long as your printer has the accuracy to reach the tolerances for, like, I think the part we made for Rex's washing machine was about the limit of what we could possibly do.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least in the style we tried to print it, I think we may have been able to print it if we tried printing it at an angle. It may have turned out a little bit better, but I don't know. It worked. His washing machine, which would have been a $70 part to replace, cost us 50 cents in plastic.
Yep. It's sitting in the other room working right now. So,
one of the most frustrating parts.
So even if like that breaks like 6 months down the line,
I have the file. I print another one.
Yeah. And honestly, with the new nozzles, I bet
you might be able to do even better.
Yeah, exactly, because those tolerances should be able to be finer. So,
one of the frustrating parts I've run into so far. Okay, I was trying to print something for one of the kids my older sister keeps an eye on every once in a while. He wanted a husky, so I made this husky model. You notice the problem with the ears.
Yeah.
Okay, there was just not lack of detail. They snapped off. So what ended up happening is towards the end of the print, I think something got caught on the spool because I was having an extrusion issue for like 10 or so layers. But because it was printing so quickly at that point, I couldn't really stop it. But it was right at the end of the print. It was maybe 2-3 minutes remaining in the print when that happened. Now, it's still a cute husky. Mm-hmm. Okay? It's just I couldn't give the kid a husky with no ears. So I had to print it again. And so I'm ending up with some neat models that people have asked me to print that end up failing for some reason or another that I can't get rid of because they're still cute, even though they've got some defects.
I don't know. Your one-handed cat girl was, I think, more adorable because of the disability.
Yeah, she ended up without a tail, a missing right hand, an injured right elbow, an injured left elbow, but she's still cute. She sits here on my desk. I am not going to show it on stream because I'm sure that Twitch would have a problem with that.
But it's just plastic, man. It's just plastic.
So just if
this is probably one of the cooler things is Space Wrench, that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is a NASA created part.
Yeah.
That functions as an actual wrench.
No, Jalopy. We're not. No 3D printed versions of my noggin.
Here, Jalopy, if you get a 3D scanner and you can get Parker to sit in that 3D scanner long enough, I will print a model of his head.
So I did a quick Google search of sub $100 printers. Now this article is a little bit older, but you can buy. It's called the 101 Hero 3D printer, and it basically it's not sub $100 anymore, but for $104 you can buy a 3D printer that runs off an SD card that looks like it prints. It prints a small volume, so you're gonna make little mini figures. You're gonna make little desk.
A lot of the time, that small volume is not a problem.
Yeah,
because a lot of things that like this part that I'm printing right now is fairly large. It takes up of the depth of the Y area on the plate. Yeah. But a lot of prints end up being tiny things. Yeah. So you can still print quite a lot of things even with a small build area.
Yeah, oh yeah. The whole
Husky says what?
the it looks like the 101, basically the whole printer fits in that Anycubic print bed. It's 8.6 2 inches by 9 inches by 12 inches tall. That's not the build volume. That's the whole.
Yeah, that's just about, I think, the size of the Anycubic Mega X.
Yes.
I think that's about the build volume of the X.
Yes. So the whole printer, that's the whole printer, the tower and everything. But
that's what, 100 mil, 100 mil?
It's 219 mil by 253 mil by 327 mil.
No, I'm talking the build area.
Oh, it does not say that. For whatever reason, it doesn't say the build area. But still, it's
slightly bigger than a sheet of paper, huh?
Yeah. I mean, if that's, I mean, you're looking at, if you wanted to print Legos, you can print freaking Legos.
Something here that Rex put together. Okay. This is printed in PLA.
Yep.
It's pretty much solid infill. I can take this and I can open bottles of beer, root beer, whatnot with it, and it opens without fuss.
Yeah.
And it's made of plastic.
You guys fixed the issue of it breaking after the second use?
Yeah.
There was an extrusion issue, yes. They fixed it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's and it works good. I mean, it's PLA, and if you do,
it's a biodegradable plastic.
Yeah.
Because it's made of starches.
Yeah.
Its disintegration time is like 60 years. Now, that sounds like a long time, but your normal plastics are hundreds of years.
Yes.
Right.
So a 60-year plastic that is made from a renewable source,
Yep.
I can grow corn, and I can get the starch out of the corn and create the PLA. So the fact that this plastic exists is a huge benefit, I think, just in general.
Yeah.
Because it's not as temperature resistant as ABS, which is one of the problems with it.
Yeah.
But in most applications, it works just fine. Like in a house, if it's supporting something, it's gonna bend a little bit, because PLA likes to fatigue, but it doesn't really. It deforms really before it really snaps.
Yeah.
But for little things that, like, say you have a wall rack of, what are they? Why can't I think of the boards with the holes in them? What is that called?
Like just pegboard, yeah.
I couldn't think.
A hole in it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
we know what you meant.
You can create like custom brackets that go on there for things that you want to hang up, so that things that you may not have like a generic thing to hold it, you can create a bespoke thing within a couple hours of printing, and so maybe some 3D modeling if someone hasn't come up with it yet, and now you have a custom thing to hold that on your pegboard. So it has uses. It has a lot of uses.
Oh yeah.
And I mean the I guess the improvements that they're making. So like, you can go out there, and if you wanted to find it, there's 3D printers out there that, yeah, they're a little more expensive, but they do multi-function. So there's one that I've had my eye on that does the 3D printing. It does CNC routing. It does laser etching. You just change out the head on it, and you still program it into the software. And
right, you just tell the software which head module you have and what you want to do, and it creates the toolpath for it.
Exactly. So, I mean, the possibilities get endless. It's a fun little thing to learn, and
and more machines that have neat functions like Prusa has uh, a 5 filament changer, and you can have 5 different colors loaded into that filament changer. It uses a single hot end. Now it does have to purge the hot end after every change, so you do lose a little bit of filament. It's probably a couple centimeters of filament each change, but you can easily have a print with up to 5 different colors in it. It takes time.
Yeah.
It'll take a little bit extra time. It'll have to print a little bit longer, but you can print multiple colors in a single model, and more things are starting to support that.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, and you know,
That used to require an additional nozzle. That used to mean every color you wanted had to have its own nozzle, meaning it had to have its own offset. So you had to go in and you would lose print volume, because now if you're printing with multiple nozzles, well, this one's offset 2 centimeters to the left. You now lost 2 centimeters in both directions because not both print nozzles can actually get to it.
and I mean, you know, just as a thing, like, for people who don't know too much about it, you know, hop on the Thingiverse and just look through the pages and pages and pages of things that people have designed, edited, created. It's crazy. Like, you know, anything from the little insert that goes into your kitchen sink drain to catch all the different crud, or all the way up to, you know, mechanical pieces, you know, that for, you know, your drones, your cameras, you know, just little household items that you wouldn't think, you know, that, you know, you can print it. You know, like, for example, my grandfather the other day, I was sitting at his house, and he asked, he's like, my desk lamp that that has an articulating arm on it, there's a plastic piece broken. I go, if you can, he's like, can you print me something like that? I go, yeah, just take the two pieces. Yeah, take the two pieces if you can get them out and hand them to me so I can see it all in one form, and I can 3D print you something that's, you know, that you can make replaceable.
At least function.
Yeah, exactly. He says, okay. So at some point he's gonna take it apart and give me those two pieces so I can accurately 3D print him a replacement part for it. So
yeah, like from an artistic point of view. So this is my Rebel T7. Okay, if I can actually print a lens cap or a lens filter that is heart shaped. So when I'm taking photos of someone, like, typically the lights with bokeh will be like nice orbs, but if you put a heart-shaped filter on it and you're taking that, all of a sudden all the lights in the background become heart-shaped because of the way they're coming through the lens. You can do stars, butterflies, things like that. So it adds an artistic level to it as well.
I always assume that stuff was added post, but it's kind of neat to think that it could be done during the shoot itself.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, it's really the amount of things that can be done is really endless, because we rely on so many things nowadays that are made out of plastic that, you know, these companies, you know.
Yeah, and some of these things are like like the plastic piece that breaks is always the part that ruins the $200 thing that you have, because now it doesn't work.
Exactly.
And I want to just get that piece. Well, you can't.
No.
You can't just get that piece.
Yeah.
Like, so being able to quickly mock up something that can take the place of that broken part, and maybe even function better than the original part did.
Yeah.
It's actually really neat.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a fun little thing to get into, but yeah, I would say we've been going for about an hour and 20, you know.
Yep.
So I say thanks everybody for watching. I mean, it's been a thanks guys for the discussion, and sorry we started late, but
Hey,
it is. Yeah, we're here, and just as a reminder, I try to give. I'll probably post on Wednesday again, up to YouTube. So for replayability, our once again, it's every 2 weeks. Try to start at 9:30, but worst case scenario, we start at 10. And
we do have lives.
Yeah,
we do have things that happen.
Yeah, and so that should be up on Wednesday. Don't forget to subscribe, that whole nine yards, and don't forget to, if you like what you're listening to and you think that somebody else that might enjoy it, even if they're not a person that is up at 9:30 in the morning on a Sunday, have them check out our YouTube channel. Have them check out. We have Twitch clips, or not Twitch clips, but yeah, we got those too. But we have the VOD, so
Yep.
you can go back and watch us. So rewatch. So yeah, by all means. And also if there's something you want to hear about, leave us a comment. Leave us some information to one of us should take a look at it and run with it. Might be something to interest us. It's like Jalopy, if you're watching this post, Jalopy was talking about the Dr. Disrespect news. I obviously not something that we were too well versed in this time, but maybe next time there will be a little bit more information out, and we can dive into that a little bit. So once again, thanks everybody for watching. You have a great day.
Yeah, everyone.
Bye, everybody.